I have to make you laugh. So when you wear your hair longer, you bear a striking resemblance to what we think Jesus might look like.
Yeah. Well, I did before I started going gray. I don't. Jesus never made it. Jesus never made it to the gray point. So
Was that always a funny moment when you had your longer hair and people said,
yeah,
was that all?
yeah. I encourage anybody to go out there and just look up Mac Powell, Google it, and you'll see some long hair. And I don't, I kind of went through these seasons where I would go 2 or 3 years with long hair, and then I cut it short, and then I grow it back out again. And this last time that I did it, I finally, it's so funny. I got my hair cut and I was just regretting it. And I got on a plane and I saw a guy with long hair come in. I'm like, dude, he looks awesome with long hair. Why did I cut my hair? And then I see another dude with long hair come in and he looked awful. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad I cut it. So it's just like,
Cut it.
it's just whatever season you're in. So I had my long hair phases. Now I think I'm way past that.
All right, so tell everybody about the new band, where we can hear music, all of that good stuff, because
Yeah,
we
you can go to macpowell.com and or you can even go on, Apple Music or Spotify and just type in Mac Powell. That's MAC Powell, Powell. And you'll see some records. We put out a record last year called Mac Powell and the Family Reunion. I'm working on some new songs now. Because of this, I've been going to Nashville for about a month every week.
Mhm.
um, Thursday and Friday, I would drive up and start writing songs with guys up there. And now I have to do it this way, through whether it's Skype or FaceTime or Zoom or whatever. And so it's been very interesting, but I've been working on some new music and I will be making I'll be making my first solo Christian album pretty soon. So I'm excited about
Woohoo!
that.
I know
Yeah.
everybody's excited about that. Now, before I begged you to sing today, and before we do that, I have to ask you, I cannot let you get away without asking you a football question.
Yes,
You're a huge Alabama fan.
I am.
One, I don't know if you happen to see the news that Nick Saban just got email. Um,
Yeah.
I, I, I'm just blown away by the fact that how somebody exist in the world in 2020 without email. But I guess if anybody could do it, Nick Saban could do
He's got people that do that for him. He doesn't need to check email. I wish I had somebody to do that for me.
it. Anyway, as an Alabama fan, are your with the staff turnover, with all of the things that have happened, are you worried at all that the dynasty is over?
No, I mean everybody says that every single year. I'm not worried at all. I mean, I think listen, believe me, I know we are very blessed to have Coach Saban. Uh, Funny being here in Atlanta, and of course, almost everybody's a Georgia fan. If they're not, then they're going to be an Auburn fan more than likely because
Yep.
Auburn's not that far away from Atlanta. When I have Alabama stickers or I'll be wearing an Alabama hat and be out in public and people think, oh, there's a bandwagon guy. They don't understand the years of bad Alabama teams that we would have, and years and years of probation and having 5 coaches in 7 years, things like that. It's like even though we had a lot of great, success in the 60s and 70s with Bear, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. There was one championship, in those years, and was thankful for that. But it was a lot of ups and downs, and so I've gone through those sad seasons, and it's unfortunately now you get the good part of winning all the time is when that one loss. It's these days if you have one loss, it might be that's the end of the season. Whereas back in the day, if you had one loss, you're like, man, you're high fiving each other, going, this is a successful year. So that's how good it's gotten at Alabama, and I'm thankful for it.
Mac, we have a couple questions that we ask every one of our guests every week before we close it out. And the first one is, and we do talk about this in the movement as well a lot, is self care, right? We
Mm.
talk so much about mental health, but I think in what we teach and we talk about is how do we have positive mental health, right? How do we take care of ourselves so we don't get ourselves into trouble? What does
Mhm.
self care look like for you on a weekly basis? What does Mac Powell do to take care of himself?
That's a great question. I mean, I think the main thing for me is my faith. I realize that for me, and I can't speak this for everybody. But I know it's true in my life
Mhm.
that I have to have a time of meditation, a time of prayer, a time of really digging into the Bible, which is a big source of inspiration and guidance to me. And so I have to daily do that. I mean, I know for me, I set the alarm early almost every day to get up because, especially doing school here at home, I know if I don't get up a little bit earlier, I'm not going to have that time during the day. And so I make myself do that. And I don't say that to brag or to look like I'm this great, solid Christian. It's just, I just know that's what I have to do. And if I don't get that daily word of God, that daily, even just a few verses, taking that
Yeah.
in, and that time of prayer, I just know I'm a different person. I'm not as good of a person than I can be. And so I think that's the main thing for me. Also, as I said earlier, I'm a people person. So having conversations like this,
Yep.
being able to spend some time with friends, that's and share each other's burdens. That's what we're here for. And so I think those are two of the main things that help me in life.
So we have this on a Sunday. It's called Sunday Soul because in my own experience, I would get a lot of Monday morning motivation. Ooh, let's go Monday, Monday. But for me, Sunday and my schedule, and I think you're probably this similar in the sense that Sabbath doesn't always come. Might come for a couple hours here. It might come here. And if you're just listening to this and maybe you're like, what is Sabbath? It's rest. It's rest. It's being it's being still. It's doing something that brings you joy and peace and making sure that you take that rest. But I wanted to do this on Sundays because on Sundays, a lot of times you're reflecting, you're thinking about your week, you're thinking about what you want to accomplish, you're getting your mind right. So what would you say to somebody that's watching, maybe an intention that Mac Powell has this week, something you're focusing on, something you're working on in the upcoming week?
For me personally, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I've got last week we had spring break, and
Hmm.
so there was a little bit of uh, in a way there was rest in that we didn't have to get online and find out what the daily schedule was for all the kids and getting all of those. So that was good, and yet sometimes I think I was a bit fearful because of not having that daily discipline of going and doing those things. I'm like, we're not just going to sit around and watch TV all the time.
Hmm.
We can't do that because that does not lead to a good thing. And so, for me in this week, I'm excited about getting back into the groove of that discipline and that daily routine,
Hmm.
and not looking at. We had a good enough break from it to not look at it as something that's monotonous, as something, okay, we got to do this again. Now because we've had a little break from it, we're able to go, okay, we get to do this. We get to continue education. I get to get up in the morning and have my devotional times. I get to have this great afternoon time with the kids. And I'm also, even though I'm with the family a lot, I'm still writing every Thursday and Friday. So developing ideas, thinking about those things through the week so that on Thursday and Friday, I've got something to work with these guys that are in Nashville and other parts of the country too, once we zoom in together. So that's what's on my mind and my heart. I'm getting a lot of great opportunities like this.
Yeah.
There's so much that's happening. People are connecting, on through social media and through great conversations like this. And so I've had a lot of people ask me to do these kinds of things, and so I'm really excited about being able to do that, to connect and to just remind everybody that yes, we had a great life the way things were,
Mm,
but this helps us to slow down a little bit
yeah.
and to have that Sabbath, to have that rest, and to be still, and to know that God has a great love for us, and to just be recharged on that.
You said something fantastic, and you're wise. But you said, I get to.
Hmm.
I think I said this all the time. Sometimes it's just a mindset shift, right? Instead of
Hmm.
I have to, I get to, right?
Hmm.
I get to study my Bible. I get to be with my family. I get to
Right.
take a walk with the two legs I have. I
Yeah.
get to dance. I get to laugh. I get to do these things. And so I sometimes if I find myself complaining because I'm flesh and bone, just like everybody else, and I'm grumbling in my spirit, I just remind myself, Matt, I just say, I get to instead of I have to. And one other thing I wanted to say to you is I've offered up, you have kids.
Mhm.
If you need any extra programming, I'm going to start doing like reporting, sports, broadcasting, like class once a week. So
Oh,
if your
cool.
kids
Awesome.
need some extra programming or need something, and mom and dad want to go hide in the in the corner for a little bit,
That's awesome.
I will definitely send you that information. It has been
I love that.
amazing. So grateful to you, my friend. What is on your heart to sing?
I'm going to sing a song for you. This was on my latest on the country album, Mac
Okay.
Powell and the Family Reunion.
Okay.
But I think this song really, it really kind of pertains to the time we're in. I think every single one of us have gone through in life, even before this time of quarantine, have gone through hard times, have gone through struggles. You mentioned earlier about your mom passing. And all of us have gone through those things that kind of rock our world and shake us a bit. And I don't know about for you in your life, but I know in times I've gone through things like that, it's usually someone helps me through.
Mm.
It's my faith, but it's more than that. I can't. I'm not strong enough, really, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not strong enough to do it on my own. And so people reach out, whether it's a family member or a neighbor or a great friend, or sometimes it's the kindness of a stranger. People help us through those hard times. And so if we have been helped in times like that, and given strength and wisdom and direction, how can we not want to return that favor to someone else? And
Yes.
that's what this song's about. And this is called "Red on a Rose." Can you hear this acoustic guitar? All right. Sometimes life don't work out like you planned it. Sometimes it's so hard to understand it. Which way's up and which way's down? What you're looking for ain't always found. Well, I'll be your blue sky when it's raining and the green grass under your feet. When the world gets complicated, you can count on me. And I'll be your shelter when you need one. When the winds of winter blow, I will hold you close and never let you go. Like a red on a rose. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like your prayers aren't answered. Sometimes you might fall taking chances. And if you do, I'm there to catch you. If you want to give up, I won't let you know. I'll be your blue sky when it's raining and the green grass under your feet. When the world gets complicated, you can count on me. And I'll be your shelter when you need one. When the winds of winter blow, I will hold you close and never let you go. Like a red on a rose. Oh, like a red on a rose. I'll be your blue sky when it's raining and the green grass under your feet. When the world gets complicated, you can count on me. I'll be your shelter when you need one. When the winds of winter blow, I will hold you close and never let you go. Like a red on a rose. Oh yeah, like a red on a rose.
Woo. Happy tears. My grandmother always used to say that I'll leave you with this, Mac. She used to say she was wonderful. She was my soulmate. And she used to say, honey, I'd cry about a boy. She'd say, save those tears for happy tears. She said, don't cry about him. And so I thought about that song, and I thought about something you said earlier in the interview, and it's so true. As horrific as what we're going through right now, right? There are also some beautiful parts of it. And I've likened it to, I've heard our friend Jensen Franklin, you've sung many times at Free Chapel. He preached a sermon on sometimes the gifts that are in these unlikely packages, right? Like, and I've said this time and what we're going through, that the package is ugly, it's pointy, you know, the tape is wrong, it's just an ugly package, but inside is time, inside is reflection, and time is rest, and time is kinship and loving each other and being there for each other. And I love that we didn't decide on, I didn't know what you were going to choose, but you chose a song that reminds me of the humanity of all this and how much we need each other. And you are right. It is people, you know, beautiful, wonderful people that have helped your adoption journey, that helped you pray for Amy, that helped me get through the loss of my mother, that helped me build this movement. And I would not be where I am today without them. So I love that you chose that for this time. And just as a general reminder that we were born for each other. You know, you weren't born for you.
Absolutely. I think it's all about community. It really is. I feel like the reason God created us was to be with Him and to be with each other. And, you know, that's why, you know, you're so great at what you do, in not only with sports, but in gathering people together and encouraging them. And I think one of the reasons that we love sport is because of of that community of teams, and knowing that it's not even just the team that's on the field, but so many people behind the scenes making that work. I saw that in being in a band for 25 years, and still doing music, that community is what is so um, life-giving, and is what we were made to do, is to be together.
I saw a quote that said, "You're a band guy. You've done the solo thing, but you're a band guy. You must love that community," as you mentioned.
I really do. You know, even as a solo artist, I came up with my band as part of it. Not only band, but, management companies and agents. And there's so many people behind the scenes that help me to do this, that it's not just me. And that, once again, that's back to what we were talking about earlier. It's humbling to know that many people, are there to fight for you.
That's it. He's Mac Powell. Go right now, download his music, listen to it, the new album. Know, be encouraged that new music is coming out. And if you will, like, subscribe, and share, because this beautiful power of technology can be used for good. And there may be somebody in your community, on your timeline, on your social media, that needs to hear what Mac has to say. Maybe there's somebody that's been mulling over adoption or mulling over the opportunity to foster, and hearing his story, hearing his and Amy's story and their beautiful family may actually push them to make that decision. You don't know. Maybe somebody that's struggling with their faith, or somebody that just needs encouragement. Matt, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. This was absolutely amazing.
Rachel, always a pleasure to talk with you, and many blessings to you.
Thanks, Matt.